1867, Germans in New York established the first ever socialist party in the United States. In 1868, Fred Astaire was born in Omaha, Nebraska, and he was the son of Johanna Ann Gillis and Frederick Fritz Austerlitz, who was born September 8, 1868 as Frederick Emanuel Austerlitz. On June 15, 1869, King William I of Germany paid a visit to Bremerhaven, and he came aboard to inspect the luxurious interior of the North German Lloyd's pride and joy, the Deutschland. Ferdinand Buchner's brother in Ashburg knew Johann the Gripschover II, and Johann was willing to sell the farm homestead given to him by his father. Johann II owned 23 Dorf's Barschaft in Ottmarsbuchholz. Ottmarsbuchholz is on the edge of Davert, a vast forest region of northeast Munsterland. Munsterland is the most populous region in North Rhine-Westphalia in northeast Germany. On July 7, 1869, Ferdinand Buchner and Johann Gripschover signed a contract which sold Johann Gripschover II's farm in Ottmarsbuchholz, Germany, in the province of Westphalia, North Rhine-Coesfeld, which is a province of the Kingdom of Prussia and the Free State of Prussia from 1815 to 1946. Today, in Westphalia, there's a ton of Westphalians who are part of a number of religious, political, social, and charitable associations of Catholics and brotherhoods, which are very active and have many thousand members. The Catholic press of Westphalia also is in a prosperous condition. And there are also 82 Catholic newspapers in Westphalia. Johann Gripschover sold his farm on 23 Dorf's Barschaft in Ottmarsbuchholz on July 7th, 1869, along with the feed troughs, a pump, a bread oven in the kitchen, timber, and fertilizer. But the upright fruits, the fodder grasses, and the herbs that were on sale were exempted. The original Gripschover land in Germany sold for $6,700, and the Gripschover's 3 spots in St. Urban Catholic Church were sold for $300. Johann Gripschover is still expected to pay that year's property tax to the city of Ottmarsbuchholz, which was the standard rate of 1 shilling and 5 eggs annually. In 1869, Reverend D. Beck was the first resident priest of Sanfordtown. In 1869, land was bought from the Height family from the same original grant that would become nearby Anchorage, Kentucky. The home for the juvenile delinquents at Lakeland was built on Lakeland Drive on the outskirts of Anchorage. All of human history is governed by economics, and so it was with the Gripschovers from Ottmarsbuchholz. The technology of farming had increased, and so more was able to be produced with less, and it made farming more competitive. The original German Gripschovers didn't have a high enough debt to warrant them to have to sell the farm, but there is cheap land in America. Also, since Johann and Anna Katharina Bruggerman Gripschover had so many young boys who were at the age to be conscripted into the military, they moved to America in order to help their sons dodge Otto von Bismarck's Prussian military draft, which is the same thing that Teresa Gripschover, my grandmother who died 9 years before I was born, would do many decades later, in order to get away from the anti-Catholic bloody Iron Chancellor, Otto von Bismarck. Within the month of selling their farm, the Prussian Gripschovers packed their things and they traveled to the immigration building in Bremen, Germany, where 60-year-old Johann Gripschover's whole family boarded the iron passenger steamship of the Norddeutscher Lloyd line, the Deutschland, which was built by a Carden Company of Greenock, Scotland in 1866, and it was going from Bremen, Germany to New York City, America, via Southampton to get out of Prussia, Germany. The original Gripschovers, the 9 OGs, moved to the United States of America. Carla Arlington Schulte said that our Gripschover cousins in Germany said that Anna Katharina Brueggemann's father had actually financed the cost of the American voyage, even though Johann II should have had the $6,700 from selling the horse farm. On the Deutschland ship list from Bremen, Johann Bernhard Gripschover II marked down that 7 of the 9 Gripschovers who were getting on the Deutschland were merchants. Then they were listed as merchants and not farmers. The other 2 were listed as children. In early August, the Deutschland, which had 1 propeller and 2 sails, set out for America with 9 OGs. Steamships, which used steam power to propel the propeller, which made sailing ships obsolete by the end of the 1870s, shortened the voyage to 12 to 14 days. The fare of 6 guineas a head was double that charged by sailing ships. However, it was much faster, and by the 1870s, the journey across the Atlantic was only taking 2 weeks. 600 to 800 passengers would accompany the pioneering OGs on the Deutschland. There were 6 first-class cabins for 80 upper saloon passengers, so for the old money, and then there was 35 first-class cabins for 120 lower saloon passengers for the new money, and then all the rest had to stay in the cramped quarters below the deck in the steerage, and that's where the Gripschovers were at, in the steerage. On the boat, an immigrant could only take a few items, like a few clothes and a family Bible. And they also had to pass several physical exams, including an eye exam. On the voyage over, it was suspected that little Joseph Gripschover had some disease, such as the bubonic plague, typhus, yellow fever, smallpox, cholera, pneumonia, and dysentery were all feared diseases at the time. Cholera is an infection of the stomach and intestines. Cholera would struck a ship's passengers and it would spread quickly. And the treatments administered were useless. The worst killer of all on sailing ships was typhus. And typhus is a lice-borne disease that afflicts the victim's skin and brain, and it causes dizziness, headaches, and pain throughout the body, together with bloodshot eyes, a dark red rash, and a dull stare. So, typhus is some bad shit. Typhus was typhus was common in the crowded conditions and was known by the nickname of ship fever. Outbreaks of smallpox were less common. But more feared. And those that would contact any of these horrible contagious disease were buried at sea. Something else that was feared was a fire on the ship. They were going to throw Joseph overboard if he had a disease, but they decided against it. And then instead, the Gripschovers had hid him in a trunk until he got better. But at one point, they thought that Joseph had stopped breathing after they had hid him in a trunk for so long. And then they put a mirror up to the front of his nose, and the mirror test verified that Joseph Gripschover was still alive, since you could see the mirror steam up since he was still breathing. Joseph Gripschover eventually would become a carpenter. He would move to the city, and he would have 2 girls and 3 boys. On August 22nd, 1929, Joseph Gripschover dies of stomach cancer at 64 years old. So he ended up living a long life. Ships that was crossing the Atlantic would have severe food shortages along with food poisoning. Passengers had seasickness, and the illnesses, coupled with the lack of privacy and their cramped living quarters in steerage, made the 2-week voyage stretch on for what seemed like an eternity. The promise of America and the fear of conscription in Germany fueled 58-year-old Johann Gripschover to bring his 45-year-old wife, Anna Katharina Gripschover Brueggemann, and their 1 daughter and their 6 sons to Kentucky. The children of Johann Gripschover and Anna Katharina Brueggemann are as follows. The eldest was 22-year-old Marie Katharina Gripschover. The second eldest, 19-year-old Barney Gripschover. The third eldest, 17-year-old Henry Gripschover. The fourth eldest, 15-year-old William Gripschover.
If you want to say fuck you, you say fick dich. This is the cat sound.
Marching and hiling and marching, Hans grows up. In him is planted no seed of laughter, hope, tolerance, or mercy. For him only hiling and marching, marching and hiling as the years grind on. Manhood finds him still hiling and marching, but the grim years of regimentation have done their work. Now he's a good Nazi. He sees no more than the party wants him to. He says nothing but what the party wants him to say. And he does nothing but what the party wants him to do. And so he marches on with his millions of comrades, trampling on the rights of others. For now his education is complete. His education for death.
Groundwork for a new war to come. And just as American soldiers had to do this job 26 years ago, so other American soldiers, your sons, might have to do it again another 20-odd years from now. Germany today appears to be beaten. Hitler, out. Swastikas, gone. Nazi propaganda, off the air. Concentration camps, empty. You'll see ruins. You'll see flowers. You'll see some mighty pretty scenery. Don't let it fool you. You are in enemy country. Be alert. Suspicious of everyone. Take no chances. You are up against something more than tourist scenery. You are up against German history. It isn't good. This book was written chapter by chapter, not by one man, not by one Führer. It was written by the German people. Chapter 1. The Führer, Bismarck. The title, Blood and Iron. The armies, German. Under the Prussian Bismarck, the German Empire was built. The German states combined, serving notice to all that their religion was iron, that their God was blood. Bismarck's German Empire built itself by war, at the expense of Denmark, Austria, and France, and became in 1871 the mightiest military power in all Europe.